Okay, so today marks my 1 month anniversary on YouTube. It's been 1 month exactly since I uploaded my first video, and I saw a lot of videos about how to succeed on YouTube. I mean, like a lot of videos, you wouldn't imagine. But I now have a much better understanding of what I'd like to do, how I can do it, and what I think is the path to success within YouTube. And I'm gonna share that with you. So, first off, how did I get started? You know what? I just simply picked up my phone based on an impulse and I started shooting. If you even go back and look at my first video, it is such a crappy video. I simply wanted to start with something and I couldn't care less of how good or bad it was. I even shot the whole thing in portrait mode, which is one of the stupidest things to do ever. What I'm simply trying to do with that video is, I want people to go back and look at this video. I want myself to go back and look at that video once I've gotten to where I'd like to be. And look at how modest, how stupid, how crappy my beginning was. Of course, you can figure out when I was starting and telling people about this, or after I launched a couple of videos, I got a lot of people telling me they wanted to do this 3 years ago, but they did not. They were going to launch their first video when YouTube wasn't even something, and they did not. Well, you know, to all of these people, I love you. Even if you're watching this video right now, stop cursing and start shooting. And please put out that video that you wanted to do a couple of years ago. And in my first video, I was simply trying to make an announcement. I was unhappy with how everything in life was. I felt like I wasn't doing the right decisions to get myself to where I'd like to be. And I wanted to make that kind of statement. Record actually a part of history saying I am going to get somewhere, and when I get there, this is going to be proof that I knew I was going to get somewhere. And I'm telling you today, that day is gonna come when I'm gonna look at that video, and all of you are gonna look at that video, and you're gonna be encouraged to actually start it, because that's as bad as it gets. There are 3 parts to the process. Number 1, you need to get the idea, the concept right, the bullet points to the topics that you'd like to cover so that you have a clean, crisp video that has some sort of a story to it, which is kind of hard but still acceptable. The shooting is probably the easiest part of the entire process to me. Of course, when I find the right time to do so, when my kids are not shouting, when the sun is up, and when I can actually record and they're not sleeping, so I can actually speak with a loud voice as I'd like to. Shooting really usually takes about 30 to 40 minutes for every single video. And then I go back to the editing part. The editing part is probably the hardest part yet. It takes me anywhere between 3 to maybe 5 hours to be able to finish a single video, depending on how long it is. And it's really, really hard to be able to create that smooth flow all throughout the video if you hadn't placed a, not script, but set of bullet points that you can go through once you're shooting the video. As to how I shoot my videos, well, I simply started with my phone. I then tried to do it with my laptop camera. I then went back to the phone that was sitting on a laptop. I then wanted to use a GoPro because it's wide and cool, but you know, that didn't really look well. I then went back, I had an entry-level DSLR, so I just pulled it out. I had a tripod, thankfully, I put it on it. And that's what I'm shooting with. The entire scene you see behind me is staged. So I set the whole thing up so it looks cool and nice. The entire room is a big mess around me if you actually look at it. So don't be fooled. But if you look at how I started and where I'm at, it's much better. I don't use the camera microphone to actually record. I have my iPhone sitting right there in front of me, and that is actually much clearer than it. Of course, you can buy a microphone, and I wouldn't recommend you spend any money on anything you don't already have. It's not worth it. You're still not comfortable with what you're doing with YouTube. You don't understand what kind of videos you want to make. You don't understand how far you can go. You don't know if you even want to do this. Why go and spend a load of money on equipment before you figure things out? So use whatever you have at home to create a sort of a nice setup. And trust me, start with the crappy stuff, and with time, video after video, you're gonna figure out the things you need to do to make it better. Now, I'll tell you, this is not easy at all. It is something that needs to be taken very seriously so that it actually turns into a job or something that generates significant revenue. Now, if you want this to work for you, here are my very simple set of steps that I think you should do to be able to do that. And number one is you should have a set plan. So you should be able to say, I'm going to produce 3 videos a week, Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday, which is what I'm going to do, which is what you can expect out of me and hold me accountable to in the coming weeks and years to come, hopefully. By doing that, you have a set schedule that you need to commit to because your audience expects you to actually deliver on those days. Now, the second thing you do is you have a list of ideas that you work on constantly. So all the time, anytime you're walking down the street, you're in the bathroom, wherever, a sparky little lovely idea might just come, and you need to have a place where you write those down. I use a Trello board where I place all of these ideas, and then I go into the description and write any sub-ideas or topics that I'd like to cover. Now, I'm going to be choosing 3 of the topics that I'd like to cover this week, writing bullet points for each of them and setting them as the videos I will shoot at specific days to be able to produce the videos on that schedule. Number 3, don't create short videos. A lot of the people, when I started shooting my videos, came to me, they were like, the videos are long. People are gonna get sick of it. Don't listen to that. If you create a 3-minute video and place it on YouTube, just like you can see from my analytics, this video has a very short watch time in comparison with my longest video, which has the longest watch time. And the only thing that's going to make you blow up, and I mean be a huge success on YouTube, is the algorithm. It's not about your social media reach. It's not about what you say in the videos 100%. It's not about your audience. Those things, of course, matter. But the number one thing that's gonna help you blow up is picking up on the algorithm simply to get YouTube to recommend your videos to people who are watching similar stuff on YouTube. Now, for that, what matters is, like we said, watch time. And the second thing is your conversion rate, which means the amount of people who actually click on the thumbnail when they see the thumbnail for your video and how much they watch after they clicked on that thumbnail. Those 2 factors are the biggest things that will affect the amount of recommendations that you are going to be getting out of YouTube. So if you look at a lot of these thumbnails for the biggest videos or the ones who have the most amount of views, they always usually have a picture of a person on there that kind of attracts people with a different weird face that looks surprised or whatever, which is the reason of my weird faces, although I like those naturally. But they really help you get a much higher click-through rate for people who see that thumbnail somewhere and tap on it just out of interest so that they can watch the video. Number 4, commit. You need to keep on doing this. So I actually found this video on YouTube that talks about the average number of videos that each channel has according to the number of subscribers it has. So to get to around 1,000 subscribers, you need around 150 videos. 10,000, 418. 100,000, 1,171. 1 million subscribers, 3,873 videos. Quantity is really important. Now, don't go on producing all of this crap. It's not gonna work for sure, but quantity matters. So if you keep on producing on a schedule, it keeps on boosting your watch time, it keeps on boosting your conversion, keeps on boosting your number of views, and if you have a large number, then that will eventually cause your numbers to become high and significant enough for the algorithm to pick you up, and then you go booming off. Every single YouTuber I've seen hit 100,000 subscribers. They were at much lower numbers before, and a single video made all of the difference for them eventually, that it picked up and they were able to get to 100,000. And once they hit 100,000, it was very easy for them to start hitting 120, 130,000 within a month. So once you get there, it is going to be much easier to grow. But the path to actually get there is going to be difficult and requires a lot of persistence. Now, the other thing I figured out is you should leverage other social media channels. I have a lot of connections on LinkedIn, and since I'm talking about business and startups, I'm going to be focusing on sharing most of my content there. That still doesn't mean that I shouldn't be on other social media networks. Like today, I think TikTok and LinkedIn are probably going to be the strongest mediums I need to be on, but that doesn't stop me from being on Facebook and Instagram as well. I am also going to be working very hard on how to create a formula where I can create massive amounts of content that can be shared in different formats on a different number of mediums so that I can cover the biggest amount of real estate on the internet as possible. So, in the coming month, I am going to be publishing a new video every Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I really enjoyed doing the interview video that I did about the layoff, which you can find here. So I think I'm going to be doing a bit more interviewing and talking to other people so that I can get the perspective of multiple people about a single subject right within that same video. That still was one of the nastiest videos I had to edit. It was really, really hard, but I enjoyed it and I'm gonna do more of it. Yeah, and one thing I really enjoyed that other YouTuber did was actually they shared their numbers along the way. This helped me kind of put things into perspective and understand how well or bad I was doing or my videos were performing. So I'm gonna share my numbers for the first month. I was able to get 111 subscribers. Thank you for everyone who subscribed. I love you all and I hope you get into being 100,000 subscribers. I got 1,568 views with a total watch time of 81.3 hours. That means almost 3.5 days of your lives were wasted watching my videos. I hope they weren't wasted, but you know, it still feels good to see that number. With that said, I'm not super happy about all of the things I've been able to accomplish in this month. I would have liked it to be much better, yet the entire process has been very enlightening. I think I now understand much more about what I need to do than when I started. I understand much more about how YouTube works and the setting I need to place myself within to be able to do this. And I'm definitely going to be throwing a lot of content at you this month. And I'd love to hear from you if there is anything you think I should do, or a topic I should shoot, or something I should talk about. Until I see you next time, cheers.